Hey guys, Neil here, and today I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on The Abandoned. This is a 2006 mystery slash thriller style horror film. It was directed by Nacho Cerda, and it stars Anastasia, Hille, and Karel Roden. The story centers around this woman who is about to turn 40 years old. She knows that she was adopted as an infant, but she doesn't really know a whole lot about her biological parents. And at the beginning of the film, she finds out that she has inherited the family farmhouse that was owned by her biological parents. Um, she doesn't have any real interest in owning this property because it's in Russia. So that's kind of her backstory. She was born in Russia, but she grew up, I think she says, in the UK somewhere, and has since moved to the United States, which is where she is living when we are first introduced to her at the beginning of the film. But anyway, long story short, she travels back to Russia to at least check out this farmhouse, hopefully to maybe find some information about who her biological parents actually were. Because, like I said, she doesn't really know a whole lot about them. So that's the premise for this one, and you're probably thinking, yeah, we've seen this movie before, right? More on that here in just a second. But yeah, it is a pretty common trope for certain types of horror films where our main character finds out, that they have inherited something, and when they go to claim it, that's when the weird shit happens, right? Well, that's what happens here in this film. But I can't really say that I've ever really seen a film like this one, and we'll get into that as we go along. But what I want to say, just right here at the beginning, is I had a very, very odd experience watching this film. So I bought this Blu-ray from Amazon. I actually tried to figure out, when and where I bought this video from, or this Blu-ray from, and ended up searching my order history on Amazon, and saw that I had bought this Blu-ray in April of 2024. So yeah, it sat on my shelf for 2 years before I got around to watching it, which is not uncommon. I've got, I don't know how many films back there that I've had longer than that and still haven't sat down and watched. But I was trying to remember why I bought this film, because going in tonight, I didn't know anything about it. Didn't know what the story was going to be. Like I said, just coming in completely blind. And then I saw it's from Unearthed Films. So that's the reason I bought it. The past several years, I have been trying to get copies on physical media of some of the more extreme horror films that I have been known to cover from time to time here on the channel. So because it was from Unearthed Films, I was like, okay, well, that's probably a pretty extreme horror film. So I bought it. But it's also directed by Nacho Cerda, who I have covered one other film from him here on the channel. It's not up anymore. For those of you that are new here, I rebooted my channel not too long ago, just decided to start over. And removed all of my previous reviews. But for those of you that have been around for a while, you may remember having watched that review. It was for a short film. The film was only 15 or 20 minutes long, and it was called Aftermath. And yeah, it was an extreme film, even though it was only about 15, 20 minutes long. But so yeah, that's probably another reason that I picked this one up. But anyway, as I was watching the film, it felt oddly familiar. Not that anything that I was seeing on the screen was bringing back, memories of maybe I had seen this film before. It was just the premise seemed very, very close to something that I had seen before, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. So when the movie was over, and by the time I got to the end of this film, I am absolutely convinced I have never seen this film before. When you've seen as many horror films as I have, it's not unusual for, me to sit down and start watching something and realize that I've seen it before. I mean, I've seen, I don't know, between 5 and 6 thousand horror films in my lifetime. So obviously, I can't keep them all up here. I forget shit. But every time up until tonight, when I sat down and started watching a movie, something would trigger, yeah, I've seen this before. I've seen this before. I usually continue to watch it because, most of the time I forgot how they ended anyway. But that wasn't the case with this one. It was just, I've seen something that this reminded me of. So when it was over, I looked this film up on IMDb. So this is where it gets really weird. So this was one of the original After Dark Horror Fest 8 Films to Die For. I don't know if you guys remember that, but yeah, After Dark Films, for several years, I forget how long they did it, but every year they would come out with their 8 films to die for. And this was one of the original set of 8 the first year that they did it. And I know for a fact that I have seen all 8 of those films. I didn't watch them in the theater, even though they were shown here. That was back before I really got into the habit of going to the theater for anything. But once they became available on Netflix, I rented the DVDs from Netflix. Yeah, y'all remember when Netflix was a DVD service? Yeah, that's how long ago this was. But I rented all 8 of them. Now, I think there was a bonus 9th film that they didn't show in the theater, and I don't remember. It was Tales of the Hood, I think is what it was, which I haven't seen that. But I did watch the original 8 films that were shown in the theater. And I swear to God, guys, I have never seen this film before. So it makes me wonder, what the hell did I watch that I thought was this film? And what is the other film that I am thinking of that, and it doesn't, I'm not saying that this is like one of the films was a ripoff of the other or a remake. As far as I know, this is not a remake. This is an original film. But yeah, I searched IMDb for about a half an hour after watching this film, trying to find the other movie that I was thinking that I had seen. But yeah, so that's my weird experience watching this one is, I mean, I know for a fact that I rented all 8 of them. So does that mean that Netflix had the wrong film? That they had it, was there another film that was called The Abandoned or Abandoned, something like that, that came out about the same time that they mislabeled and sent out to people when they said that's what they wanted to watch? If anybody remembers that far back, let me know if you have any information on what might have happened. But the main reason that I don't think that I watched this film is because I remember the film being like an Asian film. I don't remember if it was Japanese or Thai or Korean. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was an Asian film though. But anyway, for the life of me, I can't figure out what film I'm being reminded of. And then what did I watch when I ordered these things from Netflix? Because I know for a fact that I watched all 8 films, but I have never seen this film before. Yeah, by the time I got to the end, I'm like, absolutely not. I have never seen this film. And it kind of reminded me something that was kind of funny that happened to me also quite a long time ago. You remember when they used to have record stores where you could actually buy vinyl records and cassette tapes? Yeah, there was a store in the mall across town that we would go to because the mall on our side of town, it had a record store, but they didn't sell the kind of music that I listened to. So that's why we would go over there. Well, we went there one day, and I bought The Spectre Within from Fate's Warning. Got it on cassette tape. We come out, get in the car, pop it out, put it into the player, and it starts playing like some sort of reggae music. And we're like, what the hell is this? And I'd heard the album before, so I knew damn well that that was not The Spectre Within from Fate's Warning. So we popped it back out, took it back into the store, told them what was wrong with it, which they thought that was like the oddest thing they'd ever heard. They'd never had anybody come back into the store and tell them that what they bought was not what was on the actual tape. But anyway, they let us exchange it for one, and they even put it into their own player and played a few seconds of it to make sure it was the right thing instead of us walking out to the car and the same thing happened. But that just kind of put the thought in my head. It's like, had this ever happened before, but instead of it being like a completely different genre of music, it was like another metal band that I'd never heard. I'd never heard the tape, before. And it was not the band that I had bought the tape for. It was some other band that actually got put on there. And I didn't like it. So I never listened to the rest of it, never listened to it again, and never bought anything else by that band. That would be a weird thought, right? But anyway, apparently it kind of happened with this film here where, yeah, I saw something else, and it was not this. But anyway, let's get back to this review, because that's what we're talking about, right? So like I said, we got this woman goes to Russia to inherit her family farmhouse, and all kinds of weird things happen. I was really impressed with this film, guys, as far as, well, first of all, the cinematography, if I could talk, in this film is really, really good. Now, it does look like a film that came out from, the 2000s. A lot of scenes have like a bluish tint and or greenish tint filter on them. But other than that, the cinematography is very, very good in this film. This looks like a high budget production. I know that it's not. It was one of the 8 films to die for. Those were not high budget films at all. But yeah, this film looks very, very good. Like it came from like a major studio. The acting in it is really good. We've only got like 2 characters for most of this film. There are others that come in at various points. But we've got like 2 main characters through this film. The acting is really good. But the thing that I really enjoyed about this film was the mystery component of it. Because odd things happen through this film. Now, this is a slow burn film. Let me throw that in there before I forget. This movie is a slow burn, but I think the payoff is well worth the wait, which is the main requirement I have of slow burn films. Those of you that have followed me for a while know that I do like a good slow burn horror film. I like to sit down and watch one of those from time to time. But the payoff has got to be there. If you're going to make me wait, I want it to be worth it, when, we finally get to the end of the film. And I think that's the case here. I'm not going to give any details away, obviously, for you guys that haven't seen it. But this film is weird. The first indication that this was going to be kind of a weird film, when she's going to see this lawyer guy at the beginning of the film that tells her that she's inherited the house. It's in a building, and it's got, the concrete steps that lead up to it, and she's walking up the steps like right off the curb of the street, and what looks like a woman just slams into her shoulder and walks past her, and she wheels around, to see, what the hell, and there's nobody there. And the film doesn't spend, she just kind of moves on, like, what was that? And it kind of leaves you feeling the same way. It's like, did that actually happen? I saw that, I didn't rewind it to make sure, but I'm like, I saw that. And, where did this woman disappear to? So you get some moments like that, and they get increasingly more intense as the film goes along. So you're watching stuff, and as you're, getting further into the film, you pretty quickly learn that just because you saw it don't mean it happened, or did it. And that's the sense that you get, throughout this film, is like, how much of it is actually real, or is it all real, but it just makes no sense right now? Is it going to make sense later? It's one of those kind of films. So I really like that aspect of it. This is not a gory film, which was kind of odd, because like I said, I originally bought it because it's from Unearthed Films. I think they've got the American Guinea Pig series and a few other, more extreme films like that. Yeah, this is nothing of the sort, but I will say, when it does need to show a little bit of gore, it's very, very well done, very real, natural looking. I mean, it's practical effects, obviously. Um, but yeah, I mean, it doesn't. It's not trying to be gratuitous or over the top or anything like that. It's kind of like, when you're watching a war movie. The battle scenes may not be overly graphic. You're not seeing people getting, blown up into a million pieces or cut in half by machine gun fire. But when somebody does get hurt, it looks like they really got hurt. That's the way this film is. The special effects, the makeup effects are really good. But it's not an overly graphic film. So, yeah, it was just kind of odd, when it was all said and done. It's like, why did Unearthed put this release out? But glad they did, because otherwise I probably would have never seen this film. But yeah, that's it's a slow burn film. It's going to make you question everything that you're seeing as you watch it. But it's slowly building up suspense. It does take place in this farmhouse, which is the other thing I loved about this film. The farmhouse hasn't been lived in since she was an infant, and you find out why at the end. I don't know if they just lucked out and happened to find an abandoned house that looked like this, because if this was actual set dressing, they did an amazing job. This house literally looks like it has never been lived in, for a century. I mean, just the texture of everything that's on the walls. There's cobwebs. I mean, like I said, it literally looks like it was a house that had just stood vacant, since the 1960s, which is where this film initially starts off. We get a little backstory, how a lot of films do, of what happened in the past that's going to be important later, and then it comes to the future and we're introduced to our main character. So yeah, it took place in, I think, 1966, and now 40 years later it's 2006, which is when this film was released. The house looks amazing, and they take full advantage of the creepiness of it. I mean, a lot of it takes place at night. Even in the day, it's not very bright. It's that dull, dismal, bleak looking daylight that whenever they're able to do it right in a horror film that looks so great. So yeah, just overall, this was a really, really well done film. Now, when you get to the end, I'm going to tell you, it may not make a whole lot of sense to you. I mean, I obviously understand, the ending. Logically, yeah, it's horror logic. So, overall, as far as the story is actually concerned, when you find out what it is, I mean, it's not going to be some super mind-blowing thing. But the way that it builds up to it and the way they present it and the way the film finally ends, like I said, I think it's a good ending to a slow burn horror film. So overall, I enjoyed this one. Glad I took the time to sit down today and watch this Blu-ray 2 years after I bought it. And it's a film, if you like slow burn horror, supernatural horror, because yeah, this film is definitely in the realm of supernatural. I say add this to your watch list. I don't know where you can watch it for free, and I don't know if this Blu-ray is still in print. But yeah, if you do get the opportunity to watch this film, sit down and watch it, and let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. And like I said, if you've seen the film, let me know what you think in the comments. And if you have any idea what other film I may have been thinking of, or, what happened back in the day with Netflix. Because like I said, I rented something from Netflix that said it was The Abandoned, but it was not this movie. So if you got any insight into what that might have been, let me know, because I'd like to hear it. But anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on The Abandoned. Maybe not be the most original story you've ever seen. It might not be the most mind-blowing ending you've ever seen. But it's a well-done, slow-burn horror film. So, like I said, drop me a comment. Let me know what you think about it. And before you head out, if you would, smash that thumbs up for me. Helps the video out, helps me out, helps the channel out, and it's free. So do that for me, and I appreciate it. So as always, guys, thanks for watching, and until next time, we'll see you.